Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first of two Meet the Candidate webinars for the GPA Board of Directors elections this year. Our elections will be ran slightly different this year than they have in the past for those of you who have been around for a while. All votes will be submitted online through our online voting system. In today's email that you will receive from GPA, it'll give you the instructions on how to log in to vote as well as the link. Again, all votes will be submitted online. There will be no voting at the GPA conference this year. So please make sure to pass the word along to everybody else who may not know that. So we are going to get started. We have 7 candidates who will be speaking with you today. Of those 7 candidates, we have 4 open positions. So you will be able to vote for up to 4 individuals for the Board of Directors. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our first candidate, Kathy Bruno, to speak. And I think Kathy is having some problems getting dialed in. So if you give me just a second, we're going to skip Kathy and come back to her. And so Amanda, I'm going to let you go ahead and start us off. And it's *7 to unmute your line.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. So, hello friends. I appreciate the opportunity to run for the GPA board this year. This is truly an impressive lineup of professionals in our field, and I'm honored to be in the running. My name is Amanda Day, and I'm an original GPC and a GPA member since 2005. For the past 14 months, I have worked as a trainer for Grant Writing USA, teaching grant writing and grant management courses to both beginners and advanced grant professionals across the country. This is a significant change to my previous grant experience, but I found I really love it. Prior to teaching, I spent 15 years in municipal government, the last 12 as the grants administrator for the city of Alpharetta in Georgia. As the lone grants administrator, I spent time completing grant research, grant proposal writing, and management, particularly in the federal arena. Like most of you on this call, I felt like I found my home when I attended my first GPA conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. There is nothing like being surrounded by 600 or more like-minded friends. It's my desire to serve GPA by working with the board and staff to continue the impressive work that has led to over 2,000 active members today. The conference is certainly the premier event of our organization, and I expect it will get better each and every year. I continue to benefit from a successful chapter in Georgia. Meetings provide continued education and fruitful networking opportunities. I spearheaded the Southern Regional Grant Conference the past 3 years, and I'm currently working with the local host committee for the national conference in Atlanta this November. I hope to see you all there. These things are easy to do because we have so many invested chapter members willing to donate their time and talent to growing our chapter and helping fledgling grant writers in our neck of the woods. As a GPA board member, I want to help bring that enthusiasm and experience to other areas in the country where chapters do not exist. For the past 9 years, I served on the Grant Professional Certification Institute in varying roles, including treasurer, vice president, and president for 3 years. I feel that experience, along with a successful working relationship with the GPA board throughout my GPC tenure, has dutifully prepared me to serve on the GPA board. My GPC term expires at the end of the year, freeing up significant volunteer hours to devote elsewhere. I want to serve GPA. It's my desire to bring new ideas and a fresh perspective to the GPA board. The best way I know how to do that is continue GPA's history of speaking to members and asking for feedback on the work being done. If you pick up on one thing from my words today, I hope it is my love and excitement for GPA and my fellow grant professionals. What I make back in experience, I hope to make up for in enthusiasm and assistance from our seasoned GPA board members. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Amanda. And now we're going to move on to Cheryl Custer. And Cheryl, you can unmute your line by pressing *7.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And like Amanda, I want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to run. It's interesting that she and I have both been GPA members since 2005. I think Scottsdale was probably my first conference as well. And I cannot overemphasize enough how much GPA helped me grow into this profession and helped me become the professional I am today. That's why I'm so committed to the organization, so committed to giving back, and so committed to using the resources of our national organization to help continue to build up new professionals in the field and chapters. I've played many roles over the years in GPA, been on many committees. My longest running committee service has been on the PG&D committee, and I can't even remember how many years that's been. But that is the committee that is primarily responsible for helping to recommend the speakers, the sessions that you encounter at the conference. I've also served on several boards in my community, including our local Habitat for Humanity affiliate. I was also a chapter leader and chapter president for our local Association of Fundraising Professionals chapter, and was a co-founder of the Arkansas chapter of the GPA. I come from one of those states where our grant professionals are few and far between, and so support from the national office is very important to us, and it's hard for us to leverage a consistent chapter presence or strong chapter, but that is going to be our goal for next year. I'm currently president-elect of our chapter. I'll be serving as president again of the chapter in 2017, and really looking forward to the support that the national office can give our local chapter in growing, and what I can learn as a board member to help our local chapter, and what I can hear from the members and the chapters to bring to the board so that we continue to make sure that the board and our national organization is meeting our needs. So thank you again for this chance to run. I really look forward to serving GPA in this capacity and look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Thank you, Cheryl. And next we're going to move on to Shelly Lathan. Shelly, it's *7 to unmute your line.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you to everyone who's called in for this webinar. Your investment in our association is what makes it great, and I am truly honored to be part of this panel of candidates. I've been a GPA member and a member of the Heart of America chapter since January 2010 and received my GPC in 2012. I've been active in my local chapter since I joined, currently serving as treasurer, and I have attended every national conference since 2012. I have served as a volunteer and presenter at national conference, and GPA has provided me with a network of trusted colleagues and, in some cases, dear friends. I want to give back to the organization that has given me so much, and I am passionate about making sure others have the same great GPA experience I have had. My entire grant-related career has been as a consultant working with nonprofits in a variety of sectors and of varying sizes. I've had the unique opportunity to see the inner workings of these organizations and the role that the grant professional plays. While the role and perception of the grant professional is changing, too many organizations still view the grant writer, and I'm putting air quotes around that, as the jack of all trades on the staff. They expect it to be the marketing person, the event planner, and fill a host of other roles that take away from the time and energy needed to implement a successful grant plan for their organization. We are fortunate to have a national association that works diligently to support the professional development of its members and strengthen its chapters. If elected, I look forward to supporting this work. Two things that I would specifically like to look at are providing chapter program material in the resources section of the GPA website. This would include presentation material, including handouts and slides provided by originating chapters to help other chapter officers and committee members offer robust professional development at the local level. I would also like to explore ways in which GPA can target nonprofit leadership with information that will transform the perception and role of the grant professional within their organization, giving them the credit they are due for their work in program design, evaluation, budgeting, and telling the story of the need for their organization and its impact on the community. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Shelly. And next is Joe Miller. Joe, *7 to unmute your line.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you. Well, hello all. As others have said, it is wonderful to be here in this group of candidates. They're people I admire and consider friends and mentors. I believe the level of candidates is a reflection of the high standards and value GPA provides to our profession. So why do I serve on the GPA's board, and why do I encourage every person I know who touches grants to become a member of GPA and attend GPA conferences, events, webinars, and more? Because I wholeheartedly believe that GPA sets the standards for the professionalism in grants. I have worked and served in grants for over 2 decades, and I put my passion into my profession. I'm involved in GPA and serve on the board and in multiple committees. I'm one of the founding members of the Minnesota chapter. I promote and connect the grants profession through our weekly grant chat and advance GPC through our Smarty Grants training systems. As a national speaker, I promote the association and our profession to grant-seeking and grant-making organizations around the country. Why am I passionate about GPA? As an international association, GPA is committed to excellence in providing the highest quality products, services for our members and our partners. And GPA is where I find resources, experts, mentors, and camaraderie. And like many of you, I found my people at GPA. So of course, I love to share it with anyone else who can benefit from GPA. I've been inspired by my fellow GPA board members and their dedication to the profession and in serving our GPA membership. I've been impressed with the Grant Professionals Foundation, GPF, and with the Grant Professionals Certification Institute board members. In fact, in 2015, the 3 boards came together to develop a clear, collaborative plan. Together, we will advance, certify, and fund the grants profession. As we move forward, GPA will leverage our global community to build and develop programs, services that advance the values and ethics of the grants profession. As a board member, I will work to ensure that GPA is collaborating with national and local grant-making organizations and agencies to advance our best practices throughout the grant life cycle. Together, we can raise awareness for standard best practices, regulations, and laws for grant seekers and grant makers. It has been a privilege to serve our members on the GPA board this past 3 years, and it would be a privilege to serve GPA membership on this board for the next 3 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Our next candidate is Becky Shaver. Becky, unfortunately, is not able to join us today on the call, so we are going to move on to Bill Smith. Bill, you can unmute your line by pressing *7.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right, good. Well, thank you for calling in, and thanks to those who might check this out later online. Not every member is a committee member or a chapter officer or a conference volunteer, but we do need enough members engaged in the association and in each other to make it work for everyone. And we need a lot of people to take an interest in the board election. That is exactly what you're doing, and I appreciate it. So what do we need in a board member? Well, like any organization, we need board members with various backgrounds who bring all of the important ingredients of board governance. When I served on the board several years ago, my boss started telling people, you know, Bill was elected to the National Grant Professionals Board. It means he is one of the best grant professionals in the whole country. And I kind of liked that, but I had to say to her, I appreciate the kind words, but really what being on the board means is that I volunteered to serve. I had some qualifications for being on the board, and people felt good enough about that to elect me. Now, of course, we have very capable and knowledgeable grant professionals on our board, but more importantly, the board of a strong organization needs strong experience in things like organizational development, financial management, even legal issues at times, and some understanding of management needs like staff development, marketing, human resources, etc. If you read my statement on the website, you'll see that I bring to the board proven experience in all of those areas. My objective serving on the board is not to be thought of as a top-notch grants professional. My objective is to serve and support you, those who are and who will become the very best of our profession has to offer. And I want the larger community to know us all for our collective expertise and integrity. I served on the board previously for 6 years, serving as president in 2010, and I took a few years off to build my wife's organization, which is going very well. My objective now is, as always, to be uplifting the grants profession and the people in it. When I read the priorities of each candidate, we are largely saying the same good things. But I want you to know that I really want to be your representative, to be both a listening ear and a voice for members. And my serving will not be about me, but about you. I truly hope you will give me that opportunity.
Thank you, Bill. Kathy Bruno has been able to join the call now, and so I would like to let her have her opportunity to speak. Kathy, if you press *7 to unmute your line.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Kathy Bruno, and I've had the honor to serve on the Board of Directors for GPA for the past 3 years. This past year, I've served as Secretary for GPA. My first year on the board, I had the privilege to serve on the selection team that brought our visionary CEO, Mike Chamberlain, on board with GPA. The past 3 years have seen tremendous growth in GPA, and there are even greater visions for future growth and expansion for our organization. I feel that I am a good fit for the board because of my prior board service and familiarity with the organization over the past 3 years. I've been on many different types of boards and learned about the different types of hats and responsibilities that board members wear. I've been through both board and leadership trainings, but one of the most important things that you should know about me is that I'm a team player. I'll do whatever I can to get projects accomplished if it's within my power to do so. I also take on the roles that no one else seems to want to fill. I love to help others, and I am very mission-oriented. In doing some research for my presentation, I found that we have 2,325 active members in GPA. Of those members, only about 1,455, or 63%, belong to a chapter. And sadly, only about 30% of our membership, or about 700 people, have the opportunity to attend our annual conference. If elected to another term on the Board of Directors, I would like to focus on working with our new Chapter Relations Manager and GPA staff on seeking new strategies to develop ways to engage the members we are not reaching through chapter membership or conference attendance. I have the passion to see GPA reach greater heights and the time to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And now that all of our candidates have had an opportunity to talk, we're going to turn it over to you all to ask any questions that you may have for them. If you'd like to ask a question, you may press *7 to unmute your line, or you can type your question into the chat box and I will ask it for you. We do have one question in here. This is open to all candidates to answer, so I'll let you guys take it from there. But the question is, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing GPA today? Whoever would like to address that first, feel free.
Barb, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Shelly. I'm only familiar with GPA from my own personal experience in the chapter level, so that is the frame of reference that I answer this question from. But I think with most membership organizations like this, the biggest challenge is in getting people engaged at the local level. And my passion is to help people get engaged in chapters because that is where GPA has its greatest impact, which is one of the reasons I would like to explore ways to do more things to support chapters, to provide meetings and educational opportunities that are attractive to potential members and get people engaged at the local level. I know our chapter, we have quite a few members, but it seems like the same small group of people serve on the board, and we need to look for ways to get more people engaged and show them the value of being engaged in their local chapter.
This is Bill Smith. I'll give a try at that, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. A few years ago, I would have said that the biggest challenge for GPA were internal challenges, leadership, direction, finances. A tremendous job has been done in recent years getting those things in order, and it really gives us the opportunity to look outward, both to members and to the larger community. And for members, I would like to encourage young grant professionals who really want to make that a career to be something they find attractive and are encouraged in. And I know we do some things in that regard, and I want to support that and grow that. Also, there have been efforts for a long time to try to elevate Grant Professional Association nationally as the experts that really know grants and that others turn to. And there have been some efforts that didn't go well, some efforts that did go well. And I really want to see us make progress on that. I think that's important to the organization.
Thank you, Bill. Does anybody else want to answer that question?
This is Cheryl Custer. I'll chime in. I tend to think, I do agree with both with what the first two speakers said, Bill, and I think, was it Shelly? I'm sorry, I've already forgotten. Coming from an area, as I said earlier, in which there's not, it's a very rural area. We don't have large population centers. The population centers we do have are not very heavily populated. We are never going to have an extraordinarily large, strong chapter. So I continue to see a challenge engaging members who don't have easy, affordable, regular access to either chapters or the conference. They've clearly joined for some reason. They are looking for some benefit, and continuing to reach out to those individuals and finding out the best way that GPA can help them is going to be a continuing, ongoing work. I also see great opportunity facing us and many, many opportunities. And one of the challenges I think will actually be selecting from the opportunities we have moving forward, opportunities for future collaborations, partnerships, and strategies to reach our members. So that's one reason it's really important to have board members from, I believe, diverse backgrounds and experience levels who can bring thoughtful attention to that kind of detail.
Thank you, Cheryl. Does anybody else want to answer that question?
This is Joe.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Thank you. So,
yes, go ahead.
I think it was Bill that said earlier that many of us have, if you look at all of our goals and what we're looking at with the organization, where we think the organization can build strengths and where we already have some strengths, we're all very similarly focused. And I loved what the candidates all said, and I do believe that there's an element of career advancement that we're all looking at, and it's really how many of us got into the profession. Most of us were accidental grant professionals. And I think that one of the challenges, not just for the association, but for the profession as a whole, and for our collective kind of group for the foundation and the Certification Institute and GPA, is to really look at the career path of the grant professional and how we are advancing it as a profession. Again, we are the Grant Professional Association. Is there a clear path to become a grant professional? What are the resources you need to advance in the profession? And what are the different levels of the profession? And how can we communicate that to grant-seeking and grant-giving organizations so that we do have some standards and some best practices and advancement within our careers?
Thank you, Joe. Again, if you have any questions, you may put them in the chat box and I will ask them for you, or you can press *7 to unmute your line to ask a question as well. Well, seeing as though it looks like we have no other questions for today, I just want to remind everybody that voting has opened as of today and will run through October 15th of this year. All voting must be submitted online through our voting software. There will be no voting done at the GPA annual conference this year. Again, no voting will be done at the GPA annual conference this year. We must have it done prior to that of the deadline of October 15th. The website vote will be into this afternoon email for membership, but it's also on your screen if you can see that today. You can log in using your last name and your primary email address. If you have any questions on any of that, please don't hesitate to reach out to us here at GPA headquarters. You can email us at staff@grantprofessionals.org. So with that, I would like to say thank you for joining us today for the first of our 2 Meet the Candidate webinars, and please get out there and vote.